So we have a second set of examples here around deploy, and this is another Bicep file, so nothing we have not seen before. I have a couple of parameters, and I have 3 different resources. Again, this is an AVD use case. So if I would do the visualizer, we'll see the same thing we've had before. With these 3 objects, we are now going to deploy to Azure. So what I can do is I can open up what's called the deployment pane, which is this icon in the top right here. And the first thing it will ask me is to provide the scope of where I want to deploy this. So I can specify the subscription ID and the resource group on where I want to exactly deploy these resources. Of course, I can also change the scope, which provides me with a list of all of the resource groups within the current tenant that I'm in. Then what I can do is I can specify some parameters as well. So I can upload a parameters file which contains the values that I want to pass to this Bicep template, which allows me to point to a specific JSON file in this case. But the other thing that I can do is I get an overview of all of the default values that I can now actively change within this UI as well. So let's say that I don't want to deploy in North Europe, but instead I want to deploy to the North Pole. Let's see what happens. The reason I'm changing that is that I have a couple of actions here as well that help me validate, deploy, and perform what-if operations on this template. So the first thing I can do is actually validate my template against the scope that I defined. So hopefully it will come back with an error, and it does, because the provided location North Pole is not available for this resource type. We got that, hopefully, right? So let's switch back to West Europe. We'll do a validate again. And we'll see it now runs back as succeeded, right? So at least I know that the template is valid for the location that I'm deploying in. Next step I can do is a what-if command. So what-if doesn't actually deploy the template to the Azure cloud, but what it does is provide you with some insights on what would have happened if I were to deploy this template to that specific location. So it provides me details on which resources are going to change, which properties are going to change, and all of the properties that are affected by this action. And that's what overview that I get here, right? All of the resource IDs, the changes, and all of the things that are going to happen. And then the next thing is actually hitting deploy right here. So now my Bicep template is going to be passed towards the ARM engine. That is where that transpilation process towards ARM templates takes place. That's all transparently for us. And it will deploy the resources into Azure, and it's already finished, right? So as you can see, these 3 resources have now been created in Azure. And it also contains these nice hyperlinks, which I think are, well, small but really great, because if I click it, I will instantly get rerouted to the exact resource that I had in the Azure portal, which has now been created. So a great way to make sure that I can confirm that the resource is actually what I wanted to. And if I take a look at the resource group here, and if I go, for example, to the deployments overview, we can see that, yes, this was just in fact deployed and took about 2 seconds to complete.